Hey guys, John Man here with the tutorial on how to use my field control deck. If you haven't already seen the deck list video, it'll be right here by this annotation, or the annotation will be right here. You can click on that if you haven't seen it already. But if you have, then you can continue watching. But if you want to see it and you stumbled upon this video by, so to speak, accident, you can click the annotation right here and boom, it'll take you to the video and you can watch that before you watch this. So anyways, the reasons, how I came upon to make this deck was, if anyone remembers metagame.com, way back in the day before Konami really took charge of the game, that was when the site was up, and I remember a guy posting a deck list that was kind of similar to mine. Actually, I kind of copied what I barely remembered, but what it ran 2 zombie worlds, 2 mausoleums, it had a few spirit monsters, few other cards. I think it ran Necro Valley as well. I may be wrong on that one though. But it ran field spell cards to control your opponent, and I don't remember all the monsters, or even hardly any of them. But it ran Demise of the Land, which if you already seen the video, decklist video, you would know that I play it as well. But if I remember correctly, he ran like 2 in his deck. And the guy posted it for other people to use, and I had a vague memory of that deck. So I've updated it and pretty much just modded it to our current format, so to speak. So anyways, I'll show you how, situationally, how it would work. So first, our matchup would be plants, imaginary duo, so this time will be actually more consistent than like the other time I did it. Ooh boy, that was a very wacky hand. Okay, so Gravekeeper's Recruiter, Gravekeeper's Descendant, Gravekeeper's Assailant, Morphine Jar, and Gajotron Dragon. Not the best hand, admittedly, so we're just going to shuffle that back row in real quick, just because I want a more ideal hand. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is a little better, guys. And Donzalug. Okay. So, going first against plants, I would sit the Donzalug face down, activate Black Garden, and end at that. Now let's say they attack, boom, you flip Donzalug, and they take damage. If they attack Donzalug and they took damage. And since it's a plant deck, I would typically actually go for the hand. If this was a Dark World deck, I would go for the deck, but in this case I would go for the hand on the plant player. But otherwise, based on what they have, how many cards, I may go for the deck actually. So, why am I doing that? Anyways, shuffle and draw. Alright, Descendant, no good at the moment, but give or take, they have something I can use against them. I would switch down Zalug, preferably attack their monster that they summoned, and take another card or cards from the deck. So that's just how I would do that first few turns. So let's try another against a plant deck. Another shuffle. Okay, so a Descendant, Spy, and Assailant, 3 Gravekeepers, a Gajotron Dragon, and Mystical Space Typhoon with Shrink. Now actually this is not a bad hand, just not what I consider great. So I would set MST, personally, and Spy. And let my opponent go first. Let's say they summon Tengu, they attack, boom, get Spy. With the effect, I would get Recruiter, because I already have Descendant in my hand, so it makes kind of pointless otherwise to summon Descendant at the moment. Alright, sets 1, I pop it during the end phase, draw. Alright, drew a Spy, I have this. So go Descendant, pop Recruiter, get the effect, get Descendant. Gets naMehTnoJ, and pop Spy, gets naMehTnoJ, attack, shrink it, end turn. His turn, he pops off my Descendant by making a Catastor. Alright, now I have Mystical Space Typhoon, Spy, Assailant, and Descendant. I'm going to set Spy, set Space, and he goes, he summons Chaos Sorcerer. Alright, so he attacks, I guess Spy, this effect, let's see, I would go for, since I only have a Spy in the card in the deck, so I'm just going to go for the Spy, get it out of the way, so I can use Guard's effect if I set it. Alright, so he destroys the Spy again. Alright, draw. Okay, well, no real offensive cards. Let's see, draw one more. Okay, get shrink. But that is kind of, you know, can't get any field spells apparently. But the deck is meant to lock down. Or just beat your opponent away real slowly. Actually, really good hand right here. Got 2 field spells. Got Spy, Recruiter, Gajotron Dragon, and Mole. Now the nice thing about the monster lineup, at least, except for the Gajotron Dragons, if you want to play Gear Town, that is, and the Gravekeeper Spies, along with at least the 2 Descendants, the rest is pretty much highly customizable. You pretty much want to keep at least the Gale, Reaper, Gajotron Dragons, this pretty much a Spy engine with the Recruiters, or I mean not the Recruiters, the Descendants, and you play that, and it works really well monster-wise. But if you take out too many spells and traps, you can start getting kind of weird. So, just so you know. So personally, as I would do, I would set the Spy, activate Gear Town, set Necrovalley over to Gear Town. Now, minor ruling, people, is that when you set a field spell over your current Gear Town to destroy it, you will get the effect. But if you were to simply activate over it, since the resolution and activation of your next field spell happens at different times, not all at once, Gear Town is not going to be the last thing on the chain, essentially, so to speak, to resolve. So will miss the effect since it is an optional effect. It's not a mandatory one. So mind that if someone tries to do that trick on you, or you are playing the deck, you gotta know that you can actually miss it if you activate another one over it simply like this, because it won't work. But if you set, which is a legal move, to destroy it, it will count because it's not actually not activating it, nor is it has to resolve anything at the time. So this is a legal move. But if your opponent were to do that on if your opponent were to do that on you, it would work. For some reason, it just works like that. So don't get any tricky ideas that it's going to work the other way. So, getting Gear Town's effect. And where is he? There he is. See, now you have a Spy and a Gajotron Dragon. And you're ready to go to town on your opponent. So let's say he doesn't storm you the first turn, he attacks in the Spy, you have Spy. It's practically going to live because of Necrovalley. So we're going to summon Descendant. And he sets 2 back row cards, let's just say. Alright, draw Lair of Darkness, not bad. We're going to summon Recruiter, use the Sense effect, pop off back row number 1, pop Spy for back row number 2, and get Recruiter's effect, mind you. We will get that. Going to retrieve Guard. Wait, can't, my bad. 1500 defense or less. Wrong card. we're gonna go into Descendant actually. Ooh boy. Card's trying to slide all over the place. Alright. Main phase 2, Lure, draw 2, remove Descendant. Set to call for funsies as well as enemy controller. And attack my opponent with 5,000. Ooh yeah. Since we have Knuckle Valley. And I mean seriously, because of Knuckle Valley, your opponent's not gonna be able to do much. So give or take. And they can't, I mean, a typical plant player, they won't be able to use Spore. They won't be able to do any shenanigans with the Breed Dragon. Tengu will sadly go off, sadly. But, I mean, you stop them from using a lot of their effects, Pot of Avarice, Call of Haunted, Monster Reborn, you cut them off. I mean, you can make some of their cards mostly dead just alone with Necro Valley. Next, okay, Zombie Road. I'm going to explain real quick how Zombie Road works. Mind you, that wasn't planned, I just drew it. Let me tell you how this works against most other decks. If this was in this place, this would also kill plants as well as rabbit decks. How does this work actually? Zombie Road, all monsters on the field and in any graveyard becomes zombie type monsters. Neither player can tribute summon monsters except zombie type monsters. Okay, so you can't tribute summon any monster, you can't tribute summon any monster that's not a zombie type, so Caius, Monarchs are dead. That also, technically, in a way, kills some plant decks that like to play at least one Caius or two. And this also kills Spore, because Spore has to remove a plant type monster in the graveyard. Zombie Road kills that. Also, rabbit decks. Logaya and Doka, they have to have the Exceeds have to be dinosaur type. This does not allow that to happen. So if your opponent goes into rabbit and they try to do shenanigans, go into either Vozar monster, they won't be able to because Zombie Road will stop that. They can go into Utopia, they can go to any other rank 4, but they cannot go into either one with Zombie Road on the field. So that's a nice known factor because otherwise your opponent's just going to go boom. But this also does stop Pacific. This also kind of hurts 6 Samurais in a way because they have to have a warrior type monster as a non-tuner and tuner as well. So yeah, I think so. So Zombie Road would essentially cut that off as well. So mind that Zombie Road does do crazy stuff, and it doesn't affect you because you're playing by card names with the Gravekeepers, and Gajotron Dragon is not affected. So that's a nice factor to know. So we'll do another example. This time we'll try Rabbit deck, so to speak, as our imaginary opponent. And this will be a quick one. So, draw. Okay, draw last. Okay. Actually, not bad at all. I'm gonna go into Lure, draw 2, so we get more options. Gonna remove. I'm gonna remove the Descendant. So many options. I'm gonna set Spy and set Demise. And my opponent will go. Let's say he gets Rabbit first draw, uses its effect on a chain on its special summoned monsters. So I get Necro Valley, so that immediately at least makes any of the Vozars actually 24 if I remember correctly, or 25. Either way, I'll at least have enough defense to at least break even, at least. And it stops any Pot of Avarice turns for at least a while. Attacks, I get Spy. Now, if they don't negate, whoever they go within to, I will go in and get Recruiter. But let's say they choose not to negate. Did I draw? Alright, get Donzalug. Not bad. I have no descendant, but I want to go in recruiter so I can get assailant. Set my body and go. They attack. Get rid of recruiter. I get, oops, there he was too. I get assailant. Set, draw. Whoop, too many. There we go. Alright. Assailant, Kajotron, Morphine Jar, Dragodia, Gores, Donzalug. I'm gonna suicide Donzalug. Go into Treg. I currently have 24. And let's see, I don't have, that's right, that's a rank. So if anything, I at least have Spy to defend, and at least, I mean, then I draw Descendant. So, I mean, okay, that was probably not the best move, the suicide Donzalug, but if I had went Assailant, you know, either way, you force your opponent to usually waste more on you, because you have this Gravekeeper engine, which actually provides for you, give or take, you have get a Spy off. I mean, it actually causes your opponent usually to waste their, you know, Dark Hole on the single face down monster, and they may not even know what it is. And at best, it may be Recruiter, you know, it may just been a simple Gale that you bluffed your opponent to pop it off. So the deck is really all about control, and that's pretty much all it's about. You just gotta know how to abuse that. So if this wasn't informal enough, maybe I'll make another one, or just re-upload a different one. So that's pretty much it, guys, and peace out.